Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to The Door's Lenten Meditations and Devotions. I'm Tori. I'm here with Rebekah again today, and we're going to be looking at Psalm 32 and the idea of hiding from God, hiding in God, and a little bit of shame.
As always, we really want to have this conversation with you. So if you can comment wherever you are watching, you can comment later and we will come back and check with you. If you're commenting live, we will check with you right after the show. But we really want to continue this conversation with you. So I'm just going to start with reading a little bit of Psalm 32 today, and really with the focus of hope. So I want you just to listen to how that's woven in as it begins. Blessed is the one whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man against whom the Lord counts no iniquity, and whose spirit there is no deceit. For when I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy upon me. And then in the fifth scripture, it says, I acknowledged my sin to you, and I did not cover my iniquity. I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the iniquity of my sin. So there's so much hope in that.
Yeah, I think as we've been looking at all of these different Psalms during Lent, and if you've been with us from the beginning, we focused a lot on what it means to have an honest Lent and truly taking Lent in community to really look at where we are in life. What does it mean to be a follower of Christ? And sometimes in that place, we can come, the psalmist says in verse 3, my body wasted away, when we get into a place of hiding or going into Lent and feeling shame, which is not from God. It kind of twists the intent of Lent, and it can weaponize it. We can weaponize it against ourselves or against other people. And that's not what Lent is about. And that's not what we see in the Psalm. I think in the Psalm, the feeling of being wasted away was when the psalmist didn't want to bring what was going on to the light with God, or didn't want to bring it into community. And that feeling of keeping it close is where we get our art for today. And it's from Pablo Picasso during his Blue period, which was in the early 1900s, so about 1902. And this painting is really evocative because it draws you into what a sense of shame can feel like, or that hiding place can feel like, where your head is down and you're covered up. And I don't know if it's feeling your silence is motivated by fear or the idea that you might be rejected, or, oh, I shouldn't feel bad about this, or I shouldn't feel distraught over what's going on in my relationships and my family. But that can sometimes keep us silent. And I think where you're leading us into is that we don't want to be alone in our rooms wasting away, but we want to be coming into this prayer of, then I acknowledge my sin to you, and let all that are faithful offer prayer. And it kind of speaks against what it can feel like to be wasting away on our own.
Yes, and the song that we're going to share today also kind of talks about that in the bridge, and just says what the scripture says, which is, when I kept silent, my song wasted away. Mm-hmm. And I kind of think about that literally as a songwriter, because knowing that those times when I am kind of keeping myself from the Lord and hiding what we can't hide from him, that I do feel like my song, the song that the Lord gives me, wastes away. Mm. And so then it turns and says, it's that mixture between we want to hide, but then we can't hide from God, and you are my hiding place. So that's what the chorus says, which is, you, O Lord, are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble. And you, O Lord, you surround me with songs of deliverance.
And so you're going to play the song you wrote about Psalm 32 for us today. As Rebekah is looking at that, and she mentioned this move from hiding from God to actually hiding in God. And it's hiding in God is something completely different. That's where he gets to be our protector. And if you go and read the Psalm after this meditation, which we absolutely encourage you to do, there's this theme of surrounding that permeates and just is totally woven through the whole Psalm. So we talked about, in the painting, the the person is kind of trying to surround herself, but we see this, in the time of distress. There's a rush of mighty waters, and it's that blue coloring in the painting that's just completely taking over. But when we do come to God and ask for that deliverance, we're surrounded by, in verse 7, glad cries of deliverance. And then in verse 10, trust and steadfast love. And that's what God is reaching out to us as we reflect honestly during Lent. It's not about being surrounded by darkness alone in our rooms, but being surrounded in community. And that can be a hard thing, because if finding community right now is something that you're struggling with, there's even some feelings of shame in that, or wanting to hide from that, or not press into that. But you're even welcome to comment, and we can help. We'll pray, we'll reach out, but there's not shame in any of this. We want to move from hiding from God to hiding in God as we go into this time of reflection and prayer as Rebekah sings, and then we'll come all back together here.
Blessed is the one whose transgressions are forgiven, and blessed is the one whose sins are covered, whose sin does not count against them, and whose spirit is no deceit. Let all the faithful pray while you may be found. The rising of the mighty waters will not reach them. Let all the faithful pray while you may be found. The rising of the mighty waters will not reach them. 'Cause you, O Lord, are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble. You, O Lord, you surround me with songs of deliverance. You surround me as I trust in you. When I kept silent, my song wasted away. For day and night your hand was heavy on me, and I did not cover my iniquity. I confess, and you forgave me. You, O Lord, are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble. You, O Lord, you surround me with songs of deliverance. Oh, you, O Lord, are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble. And you, O Lord, you surround me with songs of deliverance. You surround me as I trust. You surround me as I trust. You surround me as I trust in you.
I love that the song ends on that. You surround me as I trust in you. And as Rebekah was singing, I just couldn't help think about, Lent as a time of preparation is leading us to Easter. And Easter is the biggest life-changing, world-changing, universe-changing moment in history. Talk about being surrounded by the hope that Jesus doesn't stay dead. He's going to be alive, and we believe that he is alive, and it is the most enveloping hope. It doesn't matter what's going on. The psalm says the rush of mighty waters can't surround me, and that's because that hope of Christ and the resurrection is so enveloping. And so as we continue the second half of Lent and are going through these last couple weeks, our prayers that you would just come into that place and have that cry of deliverance and allow God to rush in and surround you with his love and his hope. We'll be back here next week on Wednesday. If you didn't catch this live, you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll see you soon.